The 2024 Genesis G80 sedan. We have a few new changes to cover. First, it's going to be all-wheel drive is going to be standard across the board for all G80 sedans. You can no longer get a pure rear-wheel drive G80. Also, Wi-Fi is now standard across the board, along with a few new safety features. They've made that standard as well. I really like the new mid-level 19-inch wheel that they're offering. It's very reminiscent of the flagship G90 wheels. So I thought that was cool, but pricing, man, it's really all over the place. But to understand pricing, you have to first understand the engine options. So you still have the two same engine options here, the 2.5 liter turbo 4-cylinder with 300 horses and 311 pounds-feet of torque. That's still the standard engine, but the optional 3.5 liter twin turbo engine, that's going to be putting out 375 horsepower and 391 pounds-feet of torque, and you do have to use premium fuel with all of these engines, and you're going to be getting an 8-speed auto as well with both engines. I personally do recommend getting the 3.5 liter twin turbo V6. I think it's smoother and quieter, but your fuel economy is going to tank. You're going to be getting 17 city, 25 highway, but with the 4-cylinder, you would be getting 22 city and 30 on the highway. And as I mentioned before, pricing is all over the place. They really get you with that starting price. That seems to be pretty attractive. Okay, this vehicle is around $55,000 with destination. But as soon as you try to get one of the more desirable trim levels and engine options, then the price jacks up quite a bit. I personally recommend going with the 3.5 liter twin turbo V6 Sport Advanced trim level, but that's going to be around $68,000. The fully loaded Sport Prestige is $74,000. So between the fully loaded and the base G80, there's almost a $20,000 delta between the two, and that is crazy. And regarding deals and availability, I mean, after Genesis redesigned their entire lineup and they have this new swagger going on, because all of these Genesis products, they literally look like cathedrals on 4 wheels. They truly have a swagger and a standout demeanor, especially compared to the European cars. You know, those vehicles, they look very bland compared to these new Genesis vehicles, both from the exterior and the interior. From the entry-level products that they make all the way up to the flagship products. They all come with exquisite, well-designed interiors, great infotainments, good features, great sound systems. That's another reason why I recommend going with that Sport Advanced trim level. You will be getting that Lexicon audio system. This stuff really does sound epic, and this is why people love the Genesis brand. It's really being set apart from the Euro competitors while being fun and unique. So that's cool, but as I mentioned, pricing is steep once you go with the more desirable models. And best case scenario for a new buyer, it's going to be perhaps getting MSRP on one of these cars, but really it sucks paying that much money. I think if you're going to be going with the higher trim levels, like I suggest, you should try to negotiate around 5% off MSRP. I think that is a good discount to try and get. There are some loyalty and conquest incentives as well, so you can look into that. And I have a free leasing calculator in the description box below, brought to you by AutoCompanion. You can use that to find out the interest rate on the lease of the vehicle that you are interested in. And I will say that is one of the good things about the Genesis sedans, like the G70 and the G80. The interest rate is around 1%, so you can lease the vehicle for the first 3 years, and if you like the car, then you can buy it out at the end of the lease and keep it for 10 years, because Hyundai, Kia, Genesis, they offer a 10-year warranty on their new vehicles. But payments are going to be pretty high, you know, $800-900 a month. But fortunately, if you do lease the car with that low interest rate, pretty much all those payments that you're making, it's genuinely going towards the principal of the car. You're actually building equity in the vehicle. However, the reason why the payments are so high is because the residual values suck on these Genesis cars. Every luxury car tanks in value. It's not just Genesis, but here with the lease, the residual value really reflects that. I think the residual is around 50%. That's why the lease payments is so high despite the interest rate being so low. But if you don't mind the high payments and you have some motive to keeping this car longer than 3 to 5 years, then consider leasing and then buying the car out. I think that's a wise way of approaching this. And again, consider reaching out to your local dealership. Try to find the general manager's email address, email them politely asking for 5% off MSRP on one of their in-stock units, and study up on any incentives that you can qualify for. So that's my advice to you. And by the way, the vehicle shown on the screen is a 2021 model year vehicle for demonstration purposes. The exterior of the car hasn't really changed. There's a couple of different interior changes compared to 2021 and the newer model years, but regardless, it's very similar. It's a great product. And if you're an owner of a G80, let us know how it's been holding up for you, how the dealership experience has been. If you still like the vehicle, let us know. But thanks again for watching. Take care and goodbye.